the baby was born with a tooth. The baby was born with a tooth. Or if it, then, you're usually not gonna see a tooth, in the first month of life. And if they do, then it's a, natal tooth. So we have, okay, what are these little guys? So, any cell that you see that's really big, multinucleated, what kind of cell is it? General. It's a class cell. So, you call it, if it's resorbing bone, it'd be called what? An osteoclast. If it has something to do with a tooth, then you call it an odontoclast. Because we need these little guys because we need to eat away the little root so that the tooth can exfoliate. So we actually have specific cells for, dentin and for cementum and for, bone, but you like to just call them in general odontoclasts. If they're eating up bone, then they're called odontoclasts. So the key is it bone or is it tooth that you're seeing? Is that if it's an osteoclast, there's bone there. If it's an odontoclast, there's tooth tissue there. And odontoclasts, they're interesting. They come from monocytes. That's not that important. Okay, so what's this little guy called? We got a little pathway through the bone, and where that little tooth is going to erupt. Yep, gubernacular canal. If there's a little tissue in it, remnants of the lamina, it is called the gubernacular cord. So the space itself is canal, the tissue is the cord. Okay, we mentioned this. What are the two areas that are formed by that reducing enamel epithelium?
Junctional
The sulcular epithelium and the junctional. This is the junctionals down here. Sulcular is here. Sulcus, junction. Oops, keep doing it. Oops. What is it? Rule of 6 is, remember, 6, 6, 6. 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years. That's the only one. What are these little areas called? Yeah, the reed pegs are actually the epithelium. This is just the papilla area. And what type of epithelium would this be? First of all, you want to decide if it's keratinized or non-keratinized. It's non-keratinized? Well, would you have these deep reed pegs probably in non-keratinized? Because that's really, they want to hold that into the lamina propria. And so what you do is you look at the surface. What do you see on the surface of non-keratinized epithelium?
More round.
All along here, they'd be round. Are these round?
No.
They're flat. Look how flat they are. Look at how flat that nucleus is. So this is parakeratinized. Very good.
So keratinized would not have nuclei, is that right?
We'll go through it. Orthokeratinized, the very top layers are just squames that have no nuclei.
Okay.
Parakeratinized would have nuclei, but they're flat, very flat. And non-keratinized tends to be, a thinner layer of that epithelium with very round nuclei almost all the way to the top.
So does the
non-keratinized have the pillar of the lamina propria?
Yeah, but they tend to be just, they will tend to be a little more wavy looking. So that's parakeratized. Okay?
Which is kind of like, say, but like,
Yeah.
like,
We can say that, there's nobody else here. Dr. Spears isn't here. My chairman isn't here.
but it's not like keratinized tissue on your palm.
No, it's not
I mean,
for
right.
like protection, it's more like flexibility.
But we still, the ortho-keratinized is all about, protection. And any kind of keratinized is really about protection. But the most, what is an area of the mouth that would need the most protection? Yeah, like the hard palate. I mean, think of the pizza and the chips and the things that you abuse your hard palate with. So this is a low magnification. But even in this low magnification, if you were to guess what it is, what would you guess? See, there's a lot of, look at how jagged this is. The lamina propria jutting into the epithelium. We want it to adhere, like on the hard palate. And you can really, it's almost like, it's kind of a bright, translucent almost, radiolucent or whatever. But I would say this is ortho. Even, I'm going to ask you this, but can you get the idea that it's, just even in a low mag, you can kind of get a good guess as to what.
There's no nuclei on that? Surface?
Not really. What this is, you don't want to mistake just the way that it's sectioned and little overlapping cells for nuclei. You need to, you might see some little dark staining dots, but we're gonna show you something in a few minutes. Like this. Look at this. Look at all these layers. All that just squames. This would be something from the hard palate, for example. Even though that we don't have, it's just that it's a little thinner, so we're not getting the deep repegs, but it's still, the whole key is all these squames that are up there. So you might see a little overlapping something, but that's not nuclei. See how thin? It's just a little keratin, that's all it is.
Where would be a tissue in the mouth that has parakeratinized?
Junctions like, the gingiva. What you have is, you have like mostly, for example, on the hard palate, you'd have mostly ortho-keratinized, but there may be areas that blend into parakeratinized. It's kind of all for protection, but maybe right by certain areas as you're heading toward the soft palate be more parakeratinized, and then it goes into non-keratinized. Or in the gingiva, you're gonna have, you can have a section of gingiva and slice it up, and you could see parakeratinized and ortho-keratinized depending on what's going on, how much protection it needs. Are you brushing really hard? With a hard toothbrush, you're going to get more ortho-keratinization on that gingiva. That makes sense? So you'd see both in any area. Okey-dokey. So if you saw this, what would this be? Where would you see lots of bone? I'm not going to ask you this, but
In your hand.
it's probably ortho-keratinized
Your
here.
hard palate.
Very thin. Hard palate. Okay, so here, like in this gingiva here, you're going to see some areas where it would be ortho-keratinized, and then some areas where it would be parakeratinized. It would just change depending on where you're sectioned. So you're sectioning right here, what would this be? Would you call this ortho or para? Para, right?
Yes.
Because if it were ortho, you'd have a whole bunch more layers of just squames. Okay? Okay. So what would this be?
Para. Just kidding.
Are these flat or round?
Just get the slide on this.
So, non or, is it non-keratinized or keratinized?
Non.
It's non. How about this? It's non. It almost gives some areas that it might give the impression of being para, but, you know, pretty much, see, there's not that many layers here, okay? So it's a thinner mucosa, thinner epithelium. This happens to be ventral tone. How about this one? And go for it, just, what is your first impression as you're looking at this stuff right here? Yeah, it's non. Here's just here's some junctions like in the lip where you'd have, here's the inner surface, which is non-keratinized versus keratinized. Look at all these layers here. That's just like a junction. Okay, this is just a slide to show you the difference. On the left is one kind of epithelium, on the right is another, which is which? Which says para. And, right. What are these guys? Papilla, but what, let's, do they have taste buds? Do you see taste buds here? That's one key. Which does not have any taste buds. Yeah. So these are, see, they're just little keratinized areas, heavily keratinized. So these are filiform. How about this one? What are mushroom ones? Fungiform?
Yep.
How would you tell the difference between a fungiform and circumvallate?
One has more like taste buds.
One has a bigger, really deep, much deeper moat, and what else is always in the lamina propria of the circumvallate?
Follicle, right?
What?
Isn't that that follicle?
Uh,
Maybe not. Okay, never mind.
this, yes!
What?
Von Ebner's gland. That's the key to circumvallate. So this is a fungiform. These are hard to tell. See, they're not quite, and it actually is not human. I think this is a rabbit. So they have lots and lots of taste buds, but they're not really mushroom shaped. Do you remember the other kind? Actually, kind of, in the human, they're more like slits on the side of the tongue.
Foliate.
Yes, foliate. Foliate. Very well developed in rabbits for some reason. What's this one?
Yeah, circumvallate.
You are correct. How can you tell that circumvallate rather than fungiform? Maybe these little guys here? What are these? These are Von Ebner's glands. So deep moat, lots of taste buds, and Von Ebner's gland.
For review, Von Ebner's glands are accessory salivation glands, right? and they secrete, they're the exception.
They're the exception. Remember, all minor, they're a type of minor. We only have 3 major salivary glands: parotid, submandibular, sublingual. Everything else is just considered a minor salivary gland. All minor salivary glands are what type? Mucus, except von Ebner's. Von Ebner's are serous. That's why they tend to be darker staining. Remember, serous cells? Oh, shoot. What are these little yellow spots? What's this line? What are these actual little, what are the Fordyce spots?
How you want
They're in your cheek?
They're not liquid.
Are they salivary glands? Nope. What are they? They're little modified sebaceous glands. They have a little oily secretion. What is this from? Whoops. Yeah, what is that? Yeah, it tends to be right at your line of occlusion. You know, it's just heavily, would that be more heavily keratinized than the other buccal mucosa? So this is probably like perikeratinized right near this line, I would guess. Okay, what is this? Let's see, do I have a circle around?
I have a question.
Yeah,
Go back one.
I will.
So you said that you would guess that it's keratinized around that line.
Yeah, I'm just guessing, yeah.
So why would it be? Where is it everywhere else right there?
Well, on the cheek, what kind of, what would it be on the cheek?
Non-keratin.
Right, because it's lining mucosa. Remember, we've got masticatory, we've got lining, and we've got specialized. So all the lining mucosa, we want it to be flexible. So that's all non-keratinizing, primarily. But what I'm saying is, I bet if I took a little section of that and we looked at it under a microscope, we'd see a little bit of perikeratinization. Because obviously, you know, you're chewing on it, and it's just, we're gonna get a little bit of protection there.
Lining mucosa, masticatory, and specialized.
Yeah, remember masticatory
Yeah.
is on like the palate and gingiva? That's always ortho or perikeratinized. And then we have the lining mucosa is gonna be flexible, the alveolar mucosa, under your tongue, soft palate, cheek, that's lining mucosa. And where is specialized mucosa is only on one area, dorsum of the tongue. All right. Okay, so we'll go back to, let's draw a little circle around this. What is that? What do you observe about the area in the circle versus out here? Yes, your little cell. So what are dark staining cells, like the big nuclei, dark staining? L begins with an L.
It's fine, but now I need a pillow. The second wave is
Dark staining
cell.
cells. Let's see, give me another hint. Where are we here in the oral cavity? Yes, you do, because look at, see? What are these little things here? Well, yeah,
Lingual tonsil?
yes,
Oh my god. So it is lymphoid tissue?
yes.
Oh my god.
Remember, any kind of, did you have, like, when you had your general histology in the spleen and, you know, all the lymphocytes in there, they're dark staining. You can always see lymphocytes mean that something's going on there usually, like lymphocytic infiltration you'd see, like in gingivitis or whatever. You need to be able to recognize some of these tissues in oral pathology.
Is that a huge huge Christmas tree shaped, Von Ebner's cluster in between the circumvallate and the lingual
Here, down
tonsil?
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like it. See, because, you know, your lingual tonsil's in the posterior of, aspect of your tone.
What would you call those? Are they just lymphocytes or are they tonsils?
So the cells here, these individual cells are lymphocytes, but it's a aggregation. So, you know, it's a lymphoid nodules, you know, where you have these concentric circles of, and that's what those aggregates of lymphocytes we have in 3 different areas. Where are they? 3 areas.
I know.
Palatine tonsil, pharyngeal tonsil, and lingual tonsil. There's 3 areas.
It'll just start.
So, your key 2 things, lymphoid tissue, dark staining cells,
I had one job.
and
Video.
then you have to decide where it is. How do you determine whether this is the lingual tonsil, the pharyngeal tonsil, or the palatine tonsil? Well, the lingual, exactly, epithelium. The epithelium is a clue to almost any kind of tissue ever. If you're trying to determine where it is, you know, where it is in the gut, where it is in the oral cavity, whatever, look at the epithelium first and then the rest. So you can see this is obviously specialized epithelium. It's not, you know, it's stratified squamous, obviously, but it also has little filler there. So we're in the tongue, we're obviously not the palatine tonsil, we're in the lingual tonsil. So hence, the answer is lingual tonsil.
I think it would have to show up live
Okay.
on my.
How about this one?
You're right. It would be like, I think, I don't know, your neighbors.
You see, you see,
I'm starving.
2 things that you want to look at here is epithelium and
Great, that's
then obviously lymphocytic infiltration here, right? Little dark cells everywhere. They tend to form these you know, nodules, these lymphoid germinal centers. Did you have that term?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you're seeing on some germinal centers. Okay, so you know it's tonsil because that's the only thing that we ever talked about lymphoid tissue in the oral cavity. All right. So the next step is you look at the epithelium. What kind of epithelium in general is this?
Non-keratinized.
It doesn't even matter if it's what kind of keratinization it is. It's just stratified squamous. So where would you see that? Lymphoid tissue with stratified squamous epithelium. You got 3 choices.
Only available to.
Palatine tonsil. You know, it's down, you know, the tonsil is down there in those palotoglossal, palotopharyngeal arches, and which is non-keratinizing. So you. Well, yes, but we do have that, remember?
Wait, so on the tongue you have, I mean, it's stratified squamous everywhere, I thought.
You're correct, yes.
So how does that differentiate anything?
Because of my next slide,
Okay.
I think. So everybody got lingual tonsil, palatine tonsil. How about this one? There is an area that does not have stratified squamous, but that's because we're actually heading into the pharynx, which has what kind of epithelium? Pseudo-stratified ciliated columnar with goblet cells. And that, you can tell that's not stratified squamous, right? Can you tell this is a lymphocytic infiltration here? So it's what It's not lingual tonsil and it's not palatine tonsil, hence it is pharyngeal tonsil. Okay?
Dr. Rogers, okay, say you didn't show, like, neighboring structures to help us figure out that we're looking at the lingual tonsil. Would it appear the same as the pharyngeal tonsil, or is there a distinct difference?
Because you'd have to show, you can't just show lymphocytes. Then the answer would be lymphocytes or germinal centers or something.
I guess if you want.
You have to see the epithelium.
Yes, I know, but if you saw just like this picture and then that one zoomed in, how would you know if it was
Like,
lingual versus
you'd have to,
pharyngeal?
you'd have to see it, for this, you'd have to see a slide, something like this.
Okay.
You have to be able to see that it's tongue,
Okay.
you know? I mean, it's not fair, yeah, because the whole key is epithelium, and specialized epithelium is what this is all about. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And then this is obviously lymphoid tissue, but there aren't any little papilla here, you know? You don't see any filiform, fungiform papilla here. So you know that it's unkeratinized squamous epithelium, which is the palatine tonsil. I mean, that's just a fact of the palatine tonsil. And then the fact of the pharyngeal tonsil, the key is respiratory epithelium. Okay? That's all. Oh, what is this? You remember this condition? The name and what it is? What is this right here? What's under the tongue that's kind of prominent? What? Yes, exactly. Yes.
What did you say?
Varices from little veins. Do you remember the name of it?
Lingual varices.
Lingual varices. Do you get this when you're older or younger?
Probably older.
Everybody gets every weird thing when they're old. So people thought it looked like something. There's little dark globs. What is something that you eat that's dark? I think it's dark globs. I've never had it. It doesn't sound very good to me, and I don't want to eat it.
Caviar.
Yes, caviar tongue.
Whoa.
I see it.
What's this? Do you know the name of this?
Glossitis?
Yeah, atrophic glossitis. What's missing here? Yeah. Do you know what causes it?
so weird.
Yeah, all kinds of things, yeah. Vitamin deficiencies and different metabolic issues. I don't remember if we talked about this at all. Did we talk about this one? What is this called? Black What is the black stuff? Yeah, it's like, it's staining. Hence, brush your teeth. I mean, brush your tongue. Tell your patients to brush their tongue. You'll probably see some of this.
They really need a tongue scraper.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that if you brush your teeth like 3 times a day and brush your tongue with it, you're gonna remove a lot of that stuff.
What is the hair?
They're actually very heavily keratinized. You get a little more heavily keratinized filiform papillae when you have a constant irritation in your mouth, which smoking is a constant irritation in your mouth. This person maybe chews tobacco, or whatever. So that irritation is gonna, keratin is for protection. And so you develop more those scales, the more you want to protect some tissue. So you get little scaly filiform papillae, and then they stain, and hence black hairy tongue. Oh, I forgot, I didn't want that. Thermally induced hyperkeratinization. What is that? Yes. That's because, see, what are all these little dots here?
Hyperkeratinization.
Yeah, see, there's little tiny mucus glands under the entire soft palate. So then that little duct there stains red, and then you get this keratinization. So it has all different forms. You will see this, believe me, you will see it. Just about anybody who smokes has some of it. Okay, so what are these cells? So we have two types of cells. Are these cells in the these are cells in the salivary gland. Yeah. So we got two choices, serous and mucus. Characteristic of serous, darker staining, and what's the nucleus look like? Big and round. So these are serous cells. So an acinus is right here. How about these?
Goose?
Mucus. Oh, shoot. What is this? Serous demilunes. Which salivary gland has the most of these?
Rotted.
No.
Well, serous demilune, not serous cells, but serous demilunes.
The mandibular.
So that means it's the sublingual, right?
And the mix is,
Submandibular.
but you're actually right in that it's sublingual. The only serous cells in the sublingual gland are demilunes. And you'll see that. Well, we'll come to that. You'll see.
The sublingual is the mixed gland?
Sublingual is mostly mucus. Submandibular is mixed, but has more serous than mucus. Something like 70, 30, 65, 35, something like that.
So where are the serous demilunes?
Sublingual.
So where are the serous demilunes here? Maybe here, labeled S.
No,
That gives you a
which
clue.
gland?
Here. Here's one. These, what kind of cells are these? Mucus. What do you think? You think this is something right here? Yeah, this is a Dutch. What kind do you think? Probably. Yeah, good.
Smaller than
Smaller than. Remember this? Lumpy cat. I stuck him back. That reminds me of that. Okay, so I wanted to show you on this slide is there are two different things going on here in these slides. We've got serous demilunes, and those are labeled here, but we also have some other little cells that help to squeeze out the saliva that's being formed, mucus or serous solution. What are these called?
Myoepithelial cells.
Very good. Myoepithelial.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have those all over these acini? Yeah. And would you have them on ducts too? Yeah, because you're gonna help squeeze along to get your intercalated.
Oh, that is
What's this?
weird.
So you see here, what is this? This is a mucus acinus, right? Right, put a circle around here. So what's this? Yeah. Intercalated duct is always smaller than the acinus. And, you know, it's almost all nuclei, you know? It's so big.
When we say acinus, we're referring to
That glob like of grapes that are,
the
you know.
multiple cells.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of cells all here, and this is the little center of it. And so that's where we're gonna squeeze out the fluids, and then they're gonna go into the intercalated disc. Okay? So that is the So what type of cell are they? Cuboidal cells? Are they columnar cells? Are they pseudostratified cells? Cuboidal. They're very cuboidal, very low cuboidal. Okay, intercalated duct. How about this one?
Has the striations,
What do you see in this? See, here's an acinus. These are some,
Oh, yeah.
some lines.
and look at this cell here.
Oh, basal folding.
Yes, basal enfolding, lots of mitochondria, IgA. So what is it? Striated duct. Striated. So anytime you see those little stripes, now can you see the difference? Size, both sides, the shape of the cells. This is, because of, we have two ducts here, you can tell the difference. If I had only this here, I wouldn't expect you to know what that is. Yet then you need to have a little more, able to see striations and.
So we should still be able to tell even without seeing one of the acinus?
Yeah, by the looks of it.
Right.
You know, look at this versus this. You can tell, can you tell that they're ducts? They're just even cells are all around. You know, I'm only gonna show you one that's a nice cross section, not all screwed up. And these, there's no good, real good section of an acinus, maybe here about. It's kinda hard to tell. But what I like about this slide is that you see this small duct with these really prominent nuclei. You know, it's kind of taken up the whole cell, and then here is a striated duct.
Would you have to have the two in comparison, or would you be
You
able to
would
tell?
need the two. I would want you to see both. Although like if you saw this one, you should be able to see that, tell that striated versus intercalated without a comparison. Because, you know, see the basal enfoldings here, little things here, looks striped as in striated. So that, so what's this one? And just in general. Is it a duct?
Excretory duct.
Yes, a duct, no, a duct.
Yes.
Duct? Who says it's a duct? But it's obviously not intercalated,
Excretory.
obviously not striated, because we have, how many layers do we have there?
More than one.
More than one. Where do we have more than one layer? We have them in the excretory ducts. After we leave the striated duct, then there's all kinds of different ducts, but we're gonna generalize them into excretory ducts. And excretory ducts are big, and they have almost always, they'll either have tall, almost columnar, or that it will be a striated cuboidal. So you will see a couple of layers. It won't be a single layer.
But it couldn't have striations, is what you're saying?
You know, that won't be prominent. And usually, in order to see an excretory duct, you need to have a fairly low mag, because, you know, you want to get the duct in there. So, do I have some more in here? And it's striated epithelium, meaning more than one layer, not striated cells. Versus, you know, the striated duct has striated cells. Striated epithelium is more than one layer. Got that? That make sense? I think everybody's getting sick of this. Okay, what gland is this? I think we'll probably get to the end. What gland is this?
Parotid.
Oh, very good. Somebody knew it. And how can you tell?
It's written on the slide.
Serous cells. What else would the parotid have?
The one time I answered.
So mostly serous. There will be a few, these are actually right in here. There's a few mucus cells. But are these mucus cells?
No.
What are these? Right. And why do you have adipose tissue in the parotid gland? Yeah, and buccal fat pads, remember? Got fat in our cheeks.
I thought that buccal fat wasn't like intimately.
It isn't, but because there's fat or stuff in our cheeks, it gets incorporated into the gland.
It's like everywhere.
Yeah.
Actually, a heavy person, they have a smaller oral cavity because of that, like when they open their mouth, their cheeks move in and.
Ah. You know, that's true, I never really thought of that. Alrighty. How about this gland?
Sublingual.
Sublingual.
Who says sublingual? That's what I heard, yes. These mostly mucus cells with a few little, you might have some caps of serous demilunes. This duct, what would this duct be? Very good, yes. Why would it be striated and not intercalated?
Smaller than.
Yeah, I mean, it's way more the size of the acinus. And we can see, yep, you can see a little bit of striation here, and there's more of the cell that you see. The cell, the nucleus is within the cell, and the intercalated duct has such a big nucleus in comparison to the extracellular or the intracellular space. So, for example, here, there's a duct here. What would this one be? There's also one here. It's number 1 and number 2. Are they different ducts?
Yes.
What would this one be?
Intercalated.
Intercalated, and this would be,
Striated.
and these are acinine.
I can't tell the difference there on that one.
Or size.
But if you do nothing but size, the only thing that's within this type of this tissue here would be intercalated or striated, because the excretory ducts are out there in the stroma.
And they're really big.
Right, and they're gonna be along with some of the blood vessels, you know, and here, you know, because of these are just right next to each other, this is a little, I mean, it's not a perfect cross-section either. You know, so, but look at how small it is, and it's smaller than this acinus here. So these have, like the sublingual gland has really nice acini here. Like see here, even the smallest acini, this is smaller than. So that's your biggest clue. If you don't size number 1 to more definitive characteristics like the cell and the nucleus and. Do I have any more? Okay. What did I want for this? What is this? There's only one left. Can you tell the difference between the ducts, the mucus cells, and the serous cells? Can you see that there's actually more serous cells here than there are mucus cells? So, mucus, 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 serous is all throughout here. This all throughout here is serous. So the difference between like sublingual versus submandibular would be the sublingual, you would not see masses of serous cells. The only serous cells you ever see in the sublingual gland would be serous demilimbs. Okay? So what are these? In general, yeah, these are just ducts. Probably mostly striated. This one might be, is this the beginning of a intercalated? Oh, okay. Hey, look at this. Isn't that cute? He's playing a game.
Oh.